Hello there, I'm Danielle Mercurio, intuitive astrologist, here with your end of August cosmic forecast. So we have had a kind of unbelievable month. We are trailing off of the fantastic blue full moon that we had that gave us this opportunity to really see into our big lotto ticket desires, and then from there moved into the new moon in Leo, which was an opportunity for us to really connect to what our passions were, have the energy to create an action plan, and to start to see it through. But of course there was also a lot of other stuff that was happening too. We were kind of in this retrograde land where, and still currently, Venus went retrograde, Uranus went retrograde, Neptune went retrograde, Mercury was retrograde earlier this summer, and now we are already starting to get in the onset of Mercury going retrograde again in September, but we'll get to that in another forecast. However, so with these retrograde activity, with all the energy that the new moon in Leo brought along with the blue full moon that had happened prior, there's this duality of being ready to step up, feeling it so fully in your soul that you are ready, that it is time, that you have done the work, that you have invested what you need to start a new process. And then at the same time, feeling this fear to actually really put yourself out there. What do you do when your whole world as you know it changes? When the things that you had once come to know to seek outside of you now comes from within? And it's a beautiful reality to learn that you store all of the answers. You hold all of the truth. But the issue that happens is when we start to hoard that truth, when we start to hold on to what it is that we know that we are meant to give out and to share, and instead hold on to it in fear, or hold on to it in protection, or hold on to it in wanting to accumulate more and more and more for ourselves and not share with the rest of the world. And this is in any context. You might be thinking, is this just pertaining for those that are looking to be a speaker in the light work or share as a coach or something in that realm? No, it also means it in how you communicate with your partner, with how you talk to your children, with how you treat your body. All of these truths that are coming from within, all of these theories that are coming through because of the retrograde. Retrograde is all about looking within. And so when we have Neptune retrograding, our dreams are provoking us. When we have Venus retrograding, our heart is asking us to see what is it that we are fully aligned with. We have Uranus going within, asking us to desperately change the way we look at the world so that we can look at it from our own perspective and see what it is that needs to be done from there, and stop looking at things from the outside in and starting to live from the inside out. And so it's creating this kind of this tangled motion where we feel the inspiration, we feel the call, we know that we need to change, we know that we can't stay stagnant, we know that we can't keep hoarding what it is that we've been holding on to, but at the same time we don't quite know how to get it out. We don't quite know how to actually let these things manifest through. And that's where perfection is starting to come into play. And that is where we are starting to get overwhelmed by the big picture of what we feel that we know is so true and that we know we want to express. But the actual management of it is where things are getting wonky for us, where things are starting to get unmanageable or seeming too hard or too scattered or too overwhelming. So that's a big kind of trend that's happening right now. We have this push to keep transforming, but at the same time, the actual reality of it as to how is kind of jarring or a little bit scary. So what's happening to kind of help with this? For some people, you've been really vibrating with the cosmos, really using your intuition and doing your best to keep showing up, even in the moments where you feel fear or you feel stuck or your ego wants you to stay where you are. You've shown up anyway, and you've discovered that you've gotten clues along the way. By continuing to show up and do it no matter what, you realize that you are supported and you are guided in what it is that you are doing. And whether that be something just like a small goal that you're trying to implement in a 10-day process, or something much bigger like speaking in front of 500 people, whatever it may be, showing up little by little each time, you start to get more proof and more evidence of where it is that you're looking to go forward. And for other people, you are ready to launch, you are ready to move forward with a goal or idea, but you keep getting stuck. You'll make a little bit of momentum, but then, something more enticing outside of you seems to lure you, and you fall right back to where you were again, which is okay. It's the making the choice every day to get up again and to try anew. So what we have going on August 27th, we have Mercury moving into Libra. So Mercury is our planet of our mind, of communication, how we express ourselves. And often what happens is instead of using the soul to feed the mind and project out, we tend to forget all of this down here and try to just start everything up here and project that out, and it gets wonky, and it allows us to second guess ourselves. And that's what's going to happen because we have it in the sign of Libra, which is the scales. So if you don't manage it properly, you're going to find yourself in a space where you're second guessing, again, what it is you are doing, starting to get too caught up in the opinions of others, and that's where we want to negate all of it. You might be saying, why is this happening? Why is Mercury happening in Libra? Why is this syncing up to make me feel confused, to make me second guess myself? It is not happening for that reason. It is happening so that you could use it in its highest good. How can you balance and alleviate what is going on within your soul and communicate it in a way that makes sense to the outside world? So it's not about the outside world making sense to you. It is you proclaiming what your truth is and projecting that out to the outside world. What is outside of you, the people, the judgments, the opinions, they cannot define what you've got going on in here. That is up to you. And so using this phase of Mercury and Libra together to start to balance out what feels energetically right. What feels most balanced? What are boundaries that you want to start implementing, whether it be around needing accountability, around a health plan, or something else? Start to play around with that and use this space of your soul to communicate up to your mind, as opposed to letting the energy of your mind dictate what is to be projected out. So I want you to play around with that while Mercury and Libra are together. They're going to be together until November 1st. They're going to be together when we have our next retrograde in mid-September. So if you can start to play around with this energy now, get a real handle on it, when the Mercury retrograde happens, you're going to be like supercharged rock star. It's not even going to bother you, which I love. And then we have the big ticket item of the forecast. We have our full moon in Pisces on August 29th. It's happening at 2:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our full moon is all about surrender. It is all about actually allowing everything that you have been cultivating and harvesting to come into fruition. And it's happening in the sun sign of Virgo. And so the sun sign of Virgo is a time of fall harvest, right? It's interesting, even though technically it's not fall yet, we kind of get this feeling of going back to school, kind of leaving summer behind. And so we're going to mix that with the energy of the full moon and kind of be like, what is it that we are harvesting? What is it that we have been growing? And what needs an extra boost? This is going to be a super moon. It's going to be very heightened because it's falling into Pisces. Pisces is our 12th sign of the zodiac. It's a very spiritual sign. It's a very wise sign. It's lived many, many lives. It's our old soul of the zodiac. And so how can you use this ultra spiritual full moon to help you? And one of the things that you want to look at during this phase of the full moon, you might be feeling more raw, you might be feeling more sensitive. You want to use it as a time to really develop your spiritual stamina and to develop more spiritually sound habits. So how can you implement around this time more time to meditate, more time to eat mindfully, more time to enjoy sex, more time to be in appreciation of your body and how it fully operates and treating it well and using your everyday experiences as a spiritual lesson, as a spiritual experience? How can you start to cultivate that energy now? And then when we get to the brink of the full moon, I always say you have about a 48-hour window to work with the full moon energy. I want you to really feel that deliciousness that you have, that you are this beautiful spiritual being with this outer vessel that you have harvested to let your goals come to fruition, to let your thoughts and your ideas come out and be shared in the world in the way that you want them to be. And again, no task, no goal is too small. I want you to realize that, because the more you can get a handle around the little things, the more and more you're going to catch up to the big things, and the things that really matter, and that big picture, that vision that you have for yourself becomes your reality. And it becomes less of something that you have to perfect, and it's something that just is, and something that is so fully aligned with you that it just can't help but be in your existence. So for your full moon ritual, I want you to look at what you did over the new moon. And if you didn't do a new moon ritual, I want you to think about a top priority goal that you have in your life right now. And what I had people do during the new moon in Leo was to make an action plan list. So take their top priority goal, make a list of actionable steps of what they were going to do going forward up until this full moon. So I want you to look back at the last 2 weeks. How did it work? Did everything start to line up as you had hoped? Did you gain some moon momentum? Or did you fall off track? Or did you forget? Or was it too difficult? Was it too much? Did you take on more than you thought that you could handle? So I want you to kind of reassess where you are now in alignment to the item that you wanted 2 weeks ago, and how you thought you were going to get there by this point. And then you're going to kind of surrender that difficulty that you're having with it, that block that you're having. And I want you to focus on not so much what's wrong with you, why you weren't able to obtain the goal, why you got stuck, or if the goal's going really well. Let's say everything is lining up perfectly and things are kind of moving into place, you got that moon momentum, then I want you to do this. I want you to surrender the next piece that you anticipate. So either look at what has not been working for you and where you need help, or I want you to, if things are going well and in the direction that you had anticipated, to think about the next step and where you may need an extra lift or an extra boost. So you're going to get that action item. And I don't want you to think about what it is about you that could hold it back. I want you to think about what it is in your outside surroundings that could hold you back. I want you to be vague about it. I don't want you to, actually no, I don't want you to be vague about it. I want you to get as specific as possible. You know what, like F getting vague, right? Because getting vague gets us nowhere. It keeps us stuck, it keeps us coasting. I want you to get as clear as possible what outside source you are allowing to affect you. What is that outside influence that you are allowing to determine your worth, to determine how you are supposed to make your outside situations happy, and incite losing what it is that makes you happy, that makes you want all these things that you hope and dream and desire to actually become true, because you are the one that knows your dreams best. Nobody else does. So the people that are blocking your dreams, the people that are getting in the way, whether they realize it or not, some people might have no idea that they are a block to you, but it may just be an old program story, like a parent or a sibling or an old friend, something that maybe was said to you that you're still holding on to, that you still believe to be true. So I want you to really pinpoint that situation or that person or figure that is an outside block from allowing what the next step is in your internal desire from coming forth. And so we're going to block that's currently happening, or one that maybe you anticipate happening in the future. And then on the full moon, either on the brink at 2:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 29th, I want you to burn it. And when you burn it, you are dissolving the pain. You are dissolving the fear. You are allowing the situation that has been keeping you stuck to be free, to not be a part of you anymore, to allow yourself to kind of feel in this place where anything really is possible, because it's all up to you. And when it's all up to you, you have the freedom to create, and you become the magic maker. So that is our full moon in Pisces. You as the magic maker, destroying any blocks in your way, any limiting beliefs, any stories that have been keeping you from allowing what it is that you want to come out, from allowing you to keep, have been allowing you to keep hoarding what it is that you actually want to release. We don't want to hoard our dreams. That doesn't get us anywhere. We want to make the space to be open and be out there and to release what it is that we so desperately want to get out, or we so desperately want to happen, okay? So that's a big thing. So I want you to fight for you during this full moon in Pisces. I want you to fight for your inner self, because we're coming out of, this really crazy whirlwind of retrogrades, and they were all coming together to hopefully let you see the inner you, see the real you, and see the dark, scary bits, keep moving anyway, and to move past any kind of stagnant energy that's outside of you, pinpoint what it is, and to keep moving forward. To not let fear be a constant factor in what you're trying to do, because you're so much greater than an outside fear. You are you, and that's something pretty magnificent. So keep working on your spiritual practice, developing your spiritual strength, developing different tools that you can use that will help you keep this stamina going. So that's a big thing. Full moon in Pisces, developing spiritual strengths, habits, looking at what it is that you were working on from the new moon in Leo, where it is now, assessing what blocks are currently happening that you'd like to get rid of, or anticipating any blocks that are outside of you that may happen, and letting them go. So that's a big thing right there. And that's all I want to talk about for this video. I just want you guys to really set your intentions on getting used to this Mercury and Libra energy so we can prepare ourselves for the Mercury retrograde. Remembering to let your voice be the one that speaks your truth, not the mind. And understanding that in all things there must be a balance. We can only take as much as we give. We can only give as much as we allow ourselves to receive. And so play with this balance. Play with, noticing when you're second guessing yourself and asking why. Why am I letting myself get so caught up in this story? Why am I letting myself be in anxiety? I have a choice. And I can see things differently. I can make a decision, and I can keep going. And so start to play with that, and you're going to notice you're going to become more and more of your own best ally. And it's going to benefit you as we continue throughout this year and allow the things that before would slow you down to actually create acceleration and speed up the progress of everything that you're doing. And then in this gorgeous spiritual full moon of Pisces, I really want you to connect to it as much as you can. And I want you to do that through making your body, mind, and spirit the beautiful vessel that it is, to tap into that energy, to tap into source. So I want you to meditate. I want you to practice yoga, to go to sound baths, go see your healer, Reiki, whatever it may be. Go to your physician if that feels good to you, right? Like go take a swim, whatever it is that makes you kind of feel like clear and more centered and more grounded in your truth. And from there, I want you to take just a look at what's been happening for you the last couple of weeks, what your blocks have been, and what block outside of you you're finally ready to let go of. For me, it was a big realization of seeing that I was trying to play the rules that everyone else expected of me, but they don't. First of all, nobody's making rules for me. I have a pretty strong feeling that no one's at home with a rule book of how Danielle should live her life, right? And so knowing that, and knowing that I don't have the responsibility to keep anyone happy, I just have the responsibility to serve in the best way I can. And if I can do that, I know that everything will be in alignment. And I had to learn that. And I had to see where those stories were coming from, that I had a responsibility where I felt like I had to keep people happy in exchange for certain things. And just coming to realization of all that really helped me see that it was stopping me from really stepping into my greatness. And now it's like, yeah, if I'm not going to play by someone else's rule book that doesn't even exist, then what does that mean for my truth? And what does that mean for what is possible? And then that makes me the magic maker. And so this is your full moon time to be the magic maker, to wave your wand upon anything that you casted a spell on by an old story, by an old truth, and let it be dissolved. And so that way the moon can work this gorgeous Pisces wisdom into your soul, into your spirit, and allowed you to continue on this path and really let whatever it is that you so desperately have been holding on to because you want to protect it so bad, be free. And in turn, give you even more satisfaction and more happiness. So let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you, Danielle at DanielleMercurio.com. Also check me out on Periscope. It's been my new BFF, if you will. I do it every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do a daily astroscope, so you can get even more details on what is in tap with the cosmic forecast. So just like you check the weather, you can come on over and check out my Astrology forecast. And so I do that every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and throughout the week I also periscope at other times if anything comes to mind, or I just want to have a fun organic rift with you all. So check that out. And then also on Facebook, come over to the Cosmic Astrology Club. You can easily search it with the URL www.cosmicastrology.club. And you can find me there. And of course I do readings, so I'd love to do a deeper dive into your chart and figure out what is really going on for you right now, so we can get even more clarity on where the blocks are, what your strengths are, so that we can really get you moving forward, create some motion, and create some real acceleration in your life. So I adore you all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful full moon. Send me your pictures of when you're burning. If you can't burn with fire, just rip it up into a bunch of different pieces. Let it dissolve. Just get rid of it. Just write it all out. Make your blocks known, and then make them completely unknown. I'll see you next month. I'll see you at the beginning of September to talk about what's on tap in the cosmos. Bye, guys.